Hello and welcome to Road America, just south of Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, for the 12th round of the TM Master Cup Series, the Round of Wisconsin. This is one of the finest road courses in the world and arguably the finest road course in North America. The layout for this 4-mile course has stayed almost unchanged ever since it opened in 1955. It sits right at the start of the Kettle Moraine Scenic Drive in eastern Wisconsin. Given the history and how beautiful this part of the country is, it's no surprise that Road America hosts as many events as it does throughout the motorsport calendar. The very long straightaways are ideal for TM Master Cup Series cars to really stretch their legs. We have seen some incredible top speeds here this weekend. The best passing zones are into Turn 5, Canada Corner Turn 12, and into Turn 1. However, don't be surprised to see a lot of side-by-side racing and people attempting passes pretty much anywhere around this temple of speed. 46 cars will take the green flag here for a rolling start. Let's meet them. On the pole for the 4th time this year is Saul Fischel. The rookie points leader won the TM Lights race here from the pole last year. Zelda Ashby on his outside. Row 2, Ingrid Hadeland in a special livery set that time within the first 10 minutes of qualifying, and Cameron Taylor. Adrian Devereaux and Yevgeny Kuznetsov have shown promising speed all weekend. They're in row 3. Joe Olenek was fastest in final practice. Second fastest was Chris Davenport. They're in row 4. Marco Castagnetta and Liv Eklund, another special livery for Eklund, in row 5. Packer Carroll, a surprising effort for him to be in 11th, and Christina Orion, the fastest promoter's option. Row 7, Luciano Salvarol, the Brazilian, has gone well here in the past, and Ryan Matthews showing a lot of speed in the 06 car. Row 8, Arto Kekinen, the winner here last year, and Tom Moore. Brandon LaRoe and Carter Fitzgerald showing some promising speed in row 9. Row 10, Su Xiaoyu has never even been to this track before this weekend, and Daniel Leckleiter in car number 10. Kurt Pliskin and Gaspar D'Souza showing some promising speed in row 11. Craig Youncer and Phil Purpura can take the lead of the Independence Trophy by finishing 36th today. Tony Durbin in row 13 along with Scott Bates. Durbin has not gone particularly well here in the past. He's looking to turn that around. Rossini and Darian Gilliam in row 14. Ike Durbin and Ian Cooper in row 15. Both are faster than their qualifying times indicate. Hardy in row 16 alongside Truman Ellison. Both of them looking for some more speed this week. Tony Long and Dave Hetzel making his debut in row 17, both Independence Trophy cars. Row 18 is Lucas Grabert and Connor Friel, who could be fighting for his job. Row 19 is Richard Scott, another Independence Trophy car. They have a Tenaire and a Gessler practice both. They're running the Gessler in the race. Lonnie Rollins on his outside, Gareth Hunt and Zach Webster in row 20. Timothy Ruiz and Greg Woodard both had their times disallowed. The same can be said for Kareem Washington, David Krikorian, Chuck Johnson, and debutant Tanner Brya. All of them had their times deleted for track limits violations. Race Control very clearly unafraid to enforce the rules on track limits violations, having done so 13 times in the 90-minute qualifying session. The final 6 cars in the grid were sorted by the fastest times they had thrown out, and in the case of Krikorian, Brya, and Johnson, they were sorted by practice speeds. Speaking of Race Control, there have been some changes in that department recently. Race Director Ryan Reinhart was put on administrative leave, and the TM Lights Race Director Brooke Ingverson was brought up and will deputize. Ingverson is the youngest person to ever hold the title of race director, not just the first under 40, but the first under 30, as she's 29 years old. And if that name sounds familiar, yes, this is the same Brooke Ingverson who was running in the TM Lights Series and a couple starts in the Master Cup Series. As well as we have one car losing a motor, it looks like, one car losing an engine, reported by Connor Friel. Here's David Krikorian in the 13. Of course, Krikorian was the recipient of Race Control's wrath after he had 2 laps. His only 2 qualifying runs wiped off the board, and the 13 team not very happy about it. Oh, what do we got going up here? Big stack up here. I'm not sure what this is all about, but Fischel, as you see there, leading the field down rather slowly, and this is mirroring, this is mirroring something that happened in the TM Lights race last year, where Fischel led the field down to the green very slowly, and after the green flag came out, a pileup ensued. Ingverson was the race director in that instance as well, and as you can see, Race Control and Kareem Washington. And that might be the car we're losing, the 21 Purpura. There is smoke coming out of the back of that car. Yep, it's gotten worse. Purpura is the car that's going to be out of it looks like, before the race even goes green. Race Control is really not happy with Saul Fischel at the moment. Now, Fischel is the control car, so he is allowed to set the pace coming to the green flag. However, you are not allowed to lead the field to the green unreasonably slowly, which is usually defined as pit speed. and he is well below that. Ashby out of line, Hadeland out of line behind Fischel, just so that she avoids running to the back of him. We get the green. Cameron Taylor jumped the start in the 7. We're 4 wide before the first corner. There's contact. Fischel's around into his teammate. That was contact from the 19 of Ingrid Hadeland. Ashby into the lead. Packer Carroll nearly went sideways in the 71. Fischel dropping back to the field. The rookie points leader really got bit there. Ingrid Hadeland in the 19 got into the back of him and spun him sideways. I'm amazed that wasn't a huge pileup. Ashby into the lead in car number 55. The Black Diamond Racing team has really been picking up the pace lately with Luciano Savaral's strong run at Minnesota, and with Ashby getting on the front row here. Hadeland now trying to challenge in one of the 3 Trevor Project Lynx cars. That is not a paid sponsorship on those cars. That is something Lynx did on their own. It's very similar to the deal with Mermaids. Tom Moore pitted coming to the green flag in car number 4. That's something that we missed with everything that was going on. And I wonder if everything's okay with that car. He's going to have a long day, a very lonely day back there in that 4 car. Looks like everything is okay though. As now we're looking at Fischel with his main championship rival, Chris Davenport, right behind him in that 17 car. And, well, the 8 team is going to be going to race control about that incident after the start. I would be amazed, though, if they were met warmly, even though they might have a case for it. As Hadeland got into the back. Race control may have already started looking at it. May not have been at the behest of the 8 team, which bit understandable why they'd want to at least review that. However, they did kind of put themselves in that position, didn't they? As Davenport making a move on Fischel in that 17 car. Davenport having a really good year so far. Here's Tim Ruiz in the 33. New sponsorship on that car. He's running a well behind where he normally would. Tim Ruiz has been having a pretty good year so far. Even though he hasn't been getting a lot of big results, he's doing what Hasher Racing needs. But he's peeled off. Looks like he's peeling off. He was way to the right side on the exit of turn 14. He's coming in. He might have a problem here. Either that or that's a unique strategy they got here. And here's one of the other cars, one of the other Lynx Racing cars. This is Christina Orion. This is her 3rd Master Cup start, and Lynx has been very impressed with her progress. She ran very well here yesterday. She's making a move on Fischel. And for being just a part-time driver, or one of their many part-time drivers, I should say, getting a promoter's option here. This is a big one for Orion to be in, especially given the liveries on those cars this week. As she's not able to make that move on Fischel, so Fischel still fighting for all he's got, but that car's got to be wounded. See if Orion's going to have another look on him. Here she comes. Fischel might have seen that one coming, and look, Fischel hangs on to that. Oh, wow. Okay. Little surprise, no penalty for that. But Fischel is really holding the 80 car up. She is definitely faster than him. That's 3 good looks on him already. Fischel is fighting for all he's worth early on in this. But Orion might try to clear him around the outside. Is that going to work? That's going to become the inside into turn 14. That's going to be a very clever move then for Orion. I think she might, I think she was letting Fischel run a bit wide a bit to have a better run on him going down the front straightaway. The Lynx cars have been the fastest in the speed traps all weekend long. Maybe not on the timesheets, but on the speed traps definitely. Orion's going to be able to get ahead of Fischel before the braking zone, so that should tell you enough. And that 8 car really not handling well. Packer Carroll hanging on there in the 71. And here is the 74, Adrian Devereaux and Joe Olenek doing battle here for, I do believe that's 3rd place. These two have had their share of run-ins in the past. I do believe back in 2013 and 2012, they were running into each other fairly often. Olenek able to take the spot, though. He's going to be able to take it from Adrian Devereaux. Olenek has been very quick all weekend long, and he hasn't had a win yet, and it's a little surprising. That is effectively Devereaux's old rider. What's essentially his old ride, anyway. Old team. Anyways, as we're now looking back at Yevgeny Kuznetsov in the 15 and Cameron Taylor in the 7, trying to catch Marco Castaneda in that red and black number 9. Kuznetsov is showing the same pace he did during the round of Russia, a race that he ended up winning. And Kuznetsov has been very, very fast on the high-speed road courses this year. And Kuznetsov saying that there's a lot of similarities between Road America and the Nukovo Airport, although he didn't specify what those are. Here is Liv Eklund in the 11 doing battle with Packer Carol Eklund, all sorts of sideways in the kink. Once again, as is becoming her tradition, she has worn a pride flag during driver introductions, wore it like a cape. That is rather something to see. Now, she won here 2 years ago driving an electric GT car, and according to her, she's running a similar setup. That car looks extremely tail happy, so I don't know what that means, but she's holding up traffic there. She went wide in turn 14, but she's hanging on to that car as much as she can, but she is creating a bit of a traffic jam here. Eklund, of course, one of the 2 trans drivers driving for Lynx Racing, if the flags on the side of those cars didn't give it away. Hadeland, of course, has been the driver she's been most focused on beating all weekend long. It's been all Ingrid, though, in that inter-team battle, as there is Cameron Taylor going a bit wide, and Race Control, I think, a little fed up with hearing from Lennard International for the day. Ooh. I wouldn't be saying that to Race Control if I was them, but be that as it may, Cameron Taylor defending against Orion, and Official beginning to fall back a little bit from that group. Here is Eklund in the 11, continuing to annoy the hell out of Ryan Matthews in the 06. Matthews having another look. Ryan Matthews been having a great weekend so far as well. He is not having any luck with that 11 car. He's going to be very, very sick of reading the slogan that they put on the back of that Lynx has a tendency to put on the back of those cars. As we're now looking at the battle for the lead, as Ashby and Hadeland have been more or less running nose to tail in position. As Hadeland now peeking out of line, that's really late, really sudden, but she's going to be able to get it done. And Ashby's been around for a while. She knows how these things go. Ashby just slots back in a second. She's had a great weekend so far. Don't count Ashby out of this, even still, because this 55 team has been dynamite so far this year, even if it hasn't gotten many big results, as Olenek is coming in, and Joe Olenek's going to snipe Ashby and take second. So I wonder if Ashby has got a bit of a problem, or if she's just pacing herself. I'm tempted to think the latter. Castaneda in car number 9 is, Marco a bit wide. He is running into the sand. He is, hang on to it. Marco Castaneda, big moment there for the young Mexican. Lost 3 spots, but that's better than losing a race car. He had a really messy year here last year in the TM Light Series. Of course, he was involved in that early race incident, but he did not do himself any favors throughout the rest of the day. He's had a better weekend so far this year. Now here's Su Xiaoyu in car number 88 with Darian Gilliam right behind him. 2 of the mid-season hot shooters we've seen show up. Of course, neither driver started the year running full-time, but we are not really surprised to see either of them both show up, or even in Gilliam's case, to perform as well as he has. Of course, Gilliam was on the podium here just yesterday, but Su is really doing a good job because before this weekend, he'd never been here before. The young Chinese driver doing an exceptional job, and that Maggie Chow KC Racing team is being pitted, getting some assistance in the pit lane by a little team called M&J Racing. You may have heard of them if you are familiar with the FARC series. As Gilliam again having a look on Su. See if he's going to be able to get it done. Doesn't look like it. Didn't get that good of a run into the kink, though. Here is Lechleiter in car number 10, who qualified very well. And, of course, the surprise winner at the Round of Wales is doing another exceptional job here this weekend. He's been around the series for a very long time, and it's great to see that he's gotten the recognition that he deserves for his efforts as both as a journeyman driver, as a team manager, which, of course, he's not doing that so much this year, but he's having a great year so far. This is a career year for him, undoubtedly. Running an 18th, though. That's a great run, given what the kind of equipment he's in. As Fischel is being reeled in by the rest of the pack, he is dropping through the field. And, yep, they're calling him in. That is Luciano Salvarel. That will be for 10th. And this is not the day that Fischel was looking to have. because he was the fastest car over 5 and 10 lap runs in practice, even though not fastest single lap speeds. As he's going to plummet through the field, and that's not a surprise. Warnings to car 2 for blocking. Also called water is wet. David Krikorian, looking at him, making a run from the back, as he is having fastest lap of the race, as you saw. He is running up in 30th. That's a good recovery drive so far. We'll see how he's able to go throughout the day. Here's Connor Friel in car number 68, and this might be the last time we see him in this car because, of course, he is apparently not on good terms with team owner Dan Timothy, and that's a bit of a shame because Timothy hired Friel on it's very unfortunate circumstances that he hired Friel, but Friel is in all fairness, Friel has not had a incident-free weekend, and very few of those are of his own doing. Ingrid Hadeland has not been able to shake Joe Olenek in the 23 car. Olenek really beginning to fill Hadeland's mirrors as she runs a bit wide in 13. Olenek sends it in. Hadeland gives him enough space. And see if Olenek is going to be able to take the lead here, or if the straight line speed advantage of the Lynx Racing Gesslers is going to show itself. Hadeland not giving him as much room as you might think. There you go, there's a message going out to Tom Moore. We're going to have pit stops soon, it looks like. And Olenek sends it in. Hadeland made him really work for it, though, as Joe Olenek in car number 23 assumes the lead of the race. And we're going to see if he's able to stretch that advantage. Hadeland in the 19 slots back into second. There is a big gap that's formed between them and Zelda Ashby, who I think is just pacing herself at the moment. But Olenek really beginning to stretch the advantage. Packer Carroll in the 71, Liv Eklund in the 11. Whoa! Ryan Matthews really getting tired of looking at Eklund. That was a big... He just threw that car in. But we're gonna see if he's gonna be able to hold on to it, because Carroll and Eklund have been really backing the field up, it looks like, and Matthews got it done. Wow, Ryan Matthews not afraid to get his elbows out when he needs to. Is Eklund gonna have a peek at him now? Now, Eklund is no stranger herself in her rookie year to a lot of sort of elbows out driving like that. But Ryan Matthews is not a driver we normally see that from. All's fair. That was a fair overtake. Davenport into the pits first. So the Michelin Sons are throwing the dice a little bit with Davenport. Going to try to pit him early. This is on lap 9. The last we should expect to see anyone in is probably about the end of lap 10. This is a 4-mile track. I would not expect anyone to stay out longer than that, because if you run out of fuel on a 4-mile track, your race is done, effectively. And not even in the sense where you can have a decent recovery drive. At that point, there are questions whether or not just parking it, leaving it there is and letting the marshals recover you is going to be the better option. Packer Carolyn running in 10th. We've seen the 71 backing up the field. The 11 has been doing that also. Ryan Matthews might be having a look on him here. Eklund just sort of riding back there. Packer Carroll does look a little bit slower than the cars behind him, but he looks very much in control of himself so far. But he's had a great weekend as Packer Carroll, and while his reputation was definitely tarnished from some of his previous runs in the series, the last couple years I think have really solidified him, especially that stunning win he had last year. As we see Olenek and Hadeland in, and Ashby, and Devereaux in the back, and looks like Taylor in as well. A white car. I think that's Kuznetsov possibly. Looks like everyone. Eklund's still out there. Liv Eklund still on the track. I wonder if that's a mistake. The 11's still running. We saw Savarala. Everybody else has come in. This is a really risky strategy. What are they? This has to be some kind of mistake here, because I don't know why you'd stay out this long. She is probably going to run out of fuel somewhere around the lap here. I wonder if she just didn't hear him call her in. Oh, horrible stop for Adrian Devereaux. Horrible stop for Adrian Devereaux. He's going to drop through the field. There's Orion in the 80 car, who has already been into the pits, and that's going to be not saying anything on the radio, so we don't have anything to really show you on any graphics or anything of the sort. Great, but that being said, great pit work from Lynx Racing, and it's a great outlap also for Christy Orion coming in. Oh, she's in too deep. She's in too deep into the back of Savarol. Around she goes. Oh, hang on to it. Hang on to it. And it's Christy Orion rejoining. She's kept it going. She's kept it going and kept it from stalling in the sand, which would have been even worse. And that's a good recovery. That's making the most of a bad situation. Luciano not happy about it, but that's an instance where Luciano being his normal self on the radio, but Orion and Eklund's made it back to the pits. Well, at the very least, at this rate, 2 of the 3 Trevor Project cars have led laps today, Hadeland being the other, as she'll be scored as leading that lap. But that is a really risky strategy, and I'm surprised that she was able to stretch the field that long. I wonder if that explains her pace in the opening stint, as Joe Olenek in the 23 car has stretched out his lead a bit over there, and that's a good pit stop. I just noticed where Eklund's leaving the pits. It's going to be right behind Cameron Taylor, and that overcut's going to work. It looks like she's ahead of Carol. But that's also I almost wonder if that pit stop looked a little bit quick. I wonder if they didn't short fuel that car. There's no way that they were crazy enough to do that. And I do say that because this is not the track you want to be gambling on fuel, as Arto Kekkonen's in trouble in car number 1. Arto in trouble. Gilliam going by, or almost going by. That's Fitzgerald. Gilliam, Cooper going by in the yellow Nesbest car. That's LaRoe going by. Long about to go by in the 191 car. Arto really dropping to the field, but it looks like it might be a tire. Yep, there you go. As Joe, there you see running order on the left. Joe Olenek really beginning to disappear into the distance, but there's his teammate David Krikorian, who you might have noticed, up to 17th. That's mostly through on-track pace. DK has been very, very consistent over the first stint. And good pit work, as usual, by the Hodges Walter team. He's chasing down Gasper de Souza in the Ortega car, who I should mention is also having a really good week in that 20 car. Here is the other Ortega car, Brandon LaRoe, doing battle with Tony Long, an Independence Trophy car, up in 21st. Ooh, this is for 21st, I should say. Long having a look at LaRoe. Here he comes inside. What a brave move there for Tony Long. He's really sticking it out there, but he's not going to be able to make it stick. Didn't have it. Tony Long not able to make that one stick, but points for bravery. LaRoe is off. Brandon LaRoe off the course of the 25. He's able to hang on to it and brings it back on, so Long gets the place anyway. Whoa, what an exchange there between those two. Two of the unsung heroes. Eklund as she backing up Castaneda, and there is Orion about to go by Castaneda on the inside. All 3 of them Gesslers. Of course, Gessler, the Richter team and Lynx Racing have not exactly been exchanging information as much as you would expect. In fact, as we alluded to in previous races over previous weekends, not at all is the amount of information exchange going between those teams. And there has been some speculation as to whether or not Lynx will even stay with Gessler, which is something that was unthinkable just a couple of years ago. As Orion able to clear Castaneda very cleanly, and Orion really beginning to march up a little bit further. As here is Gasper de Souza in car number 20. Of course, he didn't start the year in this car. Hector Serrano did. Serrano ruled himself out, of course, until late this year. Not great news for Serrano, but we understand that this team likely has a promoter's option in their back pocket for the Canadian rounds, because Vulcan announced sponsorship with them. Of course, no decals on this car. That deal was only completed last night, so we should at least see a slight update in the liveries on those cars, just to include that. Now here is Tanner Brya in car number 70, the son of former driver Tom Brya. This car is rather blank looking. The sponsor claimed that they were being censored by the Master Cup Series. However, the the series responded by showing the paint scheme that was supposed to be run here, and it is this exact car with all logos removed. And we aren't saying who the sponsor is because that would be giving them a bit too much more credit than they deserve, as that's Gareth Hunt right in front of Bria. Bria's had a pretty messy weekend overall. He's been well at the bottom of the timesheets, and that rather interesting looking car has, oh no, that is not where you want a car to be sideways. Tanner Bria really, that car needs to probably be, a lot of adjustments need to be made to that car, that's for sure. As here is Ingrid Hadeland making a move on Ashby for second. This has gone back and forth between these two. Ashby having a great weekend, as I've mentioned before. Hadeland having a good look here in the 19 car. Of course, Ingrid Hadeland has mostly let her two teammates sort of take center stage this weekend, given what the sponsor is, of course. She only set one time in qualifying and missed most of her media obligations afterwards, because after that she was babysitting her crew chief's children. She was taking them over to get ice cream, which she was enjoying herself as well. And no fines are expected for that, as Cameron Taylor on the inside of Chris Davenport. That's helping out a teammate there, definitely, just by taking points off of Davenport. Cameron Taylor, of course, I'm surprised there's no review into the start, into Taylor's start, but be that as it may, he didn't gain much from it, so that might have something to do with it. Here's Luciano Savaral in car number 5, who's had a rather strong uptick in form lately in this 5-car course. Ran very well at Minnesota, despite the controversy around the finish there. He was very, very fast, and it is very promising, as Savaral, I think, saw Taylor in the mirror and bailed out of the way a little too quickly there. I think that might have taken him by surprise. Savaral, of course, the beacon of positivity that he is, getting in the way of the two Mitchell & Sons teammates. Are there going to be any team orders there? No, doesn't look like it, because you'd expect it to be the other way around, even though we're at mid-season. Devereaux going by Davenport, so Davenport giving way to Devereaux. Now, team orders, of course. Oh, that's Richard Scott! Richard Scott is out of it in the 92. That's an Independence Trophy car. That is the Gessler, that, of course, as I mentioned in the pre-race, is all by himself. Oh, I got it into the grass. And picked it up a bit too early. Round he went. That's very disappointing, because Scott was really looking forward to this weekend. As here is Daniel Leckleiter in the 10 car, who did not exactly have the best pit stop and has sort of fallen through the field. This is for 30th between him and Ike Durbin in the 69 car. Of course, there was some controversy. Around the sponsorship of car 69, because, of course, that is the sponsor has been involved in what I can best describe as gambling activities. Now, here is what Fischel, we're having a look at. I don't think this is a replay here. Fischel trying to get around Lucas Grabert, who is defending a position fairly. I mean, Grabert defended that one quite fairly as well. Now, Greg Woodard is way back there as well, because they had some issues getting the right rear tire off on the 41, and Fischel's coming in. That is a scheduled stop, I think. Yes, it is, for car number 8, because, of course, they are off cycle. Here is Kareem Washington, one of the other cars who started way at the back of the pack, and he has not made a whole lot of progress either. As much progress as David Krikorian. He is running up in 28th. I shouldn't have said no progress, because that's a misnomer, obviously. Washington has a pretty decent amount of local support here, which is a little surprising, but there you see he is up and having a pretty good run. Here is Tony Durbin in car number 12. Tony Durbin in this paint job, this cry for attention, if you will, has been, well, it is an interesting looking car, to say the least. It looks like we might actually get a different livery for this car at least for Indianapolis. We'll have to see about that, whether or not it'll be something else that the series will not allow him to run. Now, there is David Hetzel right behind him. Of course, that white and orange car. He's making his Master Cup debut in that car. Now here it comes Ike Durbin around Lechlater. We're having some fun here, looking at some really good battles well down the field. No points are going to be awarded for either getting 30th or 31st, but we got some good battles going on all throughout the field. So for those who are fans of Ike Durbin, there you go. He's really turning it up. And as I mentioned, the sponsor on that is MT Sports, the video game company that is Super Team 2019 on the car. Here is Yevgeny Kuznetsov running up in 4th. That is Cameron Taylor directly behind him. Kuzi having a great run here today so far. Looks like he might be holding up traffic a little bit, but nobody's been able to really make a move on him. Kuznetsov leading Taylor. Oh, Kuznetsov was into the grass. He's spun it around into the sand and into the tires. And all it takes is one mistake to undo all of your good work this weekend. Oh, Gino, that is not the kind of error you want to be making, as he kind of compounds his problems there. Now looking at Davenport in the 17 car, the Aerotel machine. He's let Devereaux go by. That's Eklund right behind him. Oh, is Davenport got a problem? Yes, he does. I think that might have been why he let his teammate go by. He let Eklund, I believe that was Eklund, go through. And that's the problem, right front tire, right after he passed pit in. So that is going to really be, really hurt Davenport in the championship. Here is Joe Olenek, who has really begun to pull away from everyone behind him. Now, there's a few cars faster than him. He's not the fastest car on the racetrack, but they're all well back in the field at the moment. Here is Devereaux in car number 74. Of course, he's sort of lost Davenport as a little crossed up there following Savarell. That's Eklund right behind him in one of the Trevor Project Lynx racing cars. Eklund really beginning to have a look to hound Adrian Devereaux. These two had a bit of a run-in at Road Atlanta earlier in the year. However, both of them sort of wrote that off as nothing. It didn't look like nothing at the time, though. Devereaux trying to fend off the rookie. He's going to have a pretty hard time with Eklund filling his mirrors. I wonder how Devereaux feels, sort of. Oh! Wonder how Devereaux feels about a driver now racing against him who by her own admission, grew up rooting against him for a while. As Eklund was, of course, a big fan of none other than Alexis Rainsford, of course, who Devereaux battled for the championship back in 2010. Of course, Rainsford came out victorious in that campaign. As Su Xiaoyu running up here in 9th in this 88 car. Maggie Chow KC Racing Team, of course, ran very well at Le Mans, defended their class victory in the, and made sure to do it again, and did it again. So Su, one of the drivers in that effort, and that's, oh, he's got a problem there. He's got a problem, looks like with the 88 car. He pulled it off to the right side, switch over to the left. Yep, right front tire again. A little surprised it's a right front with two cars. Could be that they both ran over something. As you saw, Matthews go way wide. I wonder if that could be a piece of debris that Su and Davenport ran over, as Matthews is way out. So when he went off the track, he clearly had some dust and dirt in his tires, and he almost lost it in the carousel. But Ryan Matthews, proof that there are some old, bold drivers. Of course, the old saying going, there are old drivers and bold drivers, but no old, bold drivers. Ryan Matthews doing his best to disprove that notion. As you see here, Packer Carroll, who is still hanging on in 11th place. Carroll having an exceptional weekend so far. I think a lot of people after qualifying, myself included, really expected him to plummet down the order. It has not been the case. He's certainly not been going forwards, but he is holding station, which, as you see all this group here all coming into the pits together. But that is still an admirable effort, especially given Packer Carroll what the equipment that team has. He is, of course, a part owner there. As you see, Hadeland, Ashby, and Taylor in. As Su is able to make it back to the pits. Of course, that was at a pretty opportune time for him, you have to admit. So, Su in the 88 car is pitted and gotten back there safely. Shouldn't hurt his race too much, as Joe Olenek has now entered the pits in car 23. Olenek's lead looks pretty safe. As here is Eklund now in car number 11. She has stayed out also with Olenek, and these are the last two. Yeah, I believe these are the last two cars to pit. The last two cars in the top 20, anyways. Most anyone else that is not pitted yet is well down the order. Now here is Olenek leaving the pits. The overcut worked a lot for Eklund the first hit. It's going to work a lot again. Now, did they short fill this time? Because Eklund's really jumping up a lot of, going to make a lot of ground up here. Has the 11 team been short filling the car the entire time? And not by too much, but this case it looks by a lot, because you see the field going by on the right side there to see about where everyone is at the end of this pit cycle. Eklund's in second position right now, and if she's gonna need to close down on Joe Olenek and get him before the next pit stop, the final stop of the day, that is really ambitious. That is gonna be a really tall order, but they're shooting for the moon over there at that 11 team. Wow. Yep. I thought so. We suspected that was the case. There you had it confirmed on Ingrid Hadeland's radio, as we're now looking at Connor Friel in the 68 car, who, as you might have noticed, is having a pretty good day for himself. He's running up in 19th. Among all the rumors that he is about to be sacked, there is very little reports on who could be replacing him. Hardy could be rumored to this car, but I'm not sure how strong those rumors are. As we've got, that's Castagnetta. Marco Castagneta's in trouble, and he was running up in 9th. Big disappointment for Castagnetta, who was having a very good day so far, but it's all come undone. He's at least close enough to pit in to be able to get himself back into the pits, but he's going to really drop to the order. As here is Cooper, who is now they've already been warned for blocking, but that was early in the race, and they have been known to be a bit of a rolling roadblock sometimes. And they're holding up Darian Gilliam in the 35. Gilliam's had a quiet race so far, but he's looking for some more championship points in that 35 car. And of course, that's Tony Long right behind him. That's an Independence Trophy car in the 191. Then there's Friel, and then Carter Fitzgerald. But Cooper really doing a good job so far today in that car number 2. Here is David Krikorian, who's fought his way back up into 11th. So now DK is going to be looking on the hunt for some major points today. I would say you kind of wonder what would happen if he would have qualified higher up the order, but I almost hesitate to guess that he might be on, that if that was the case and he did start further up the field, he might be on the same strategy Olenik's on, but he's clearly on a more attack-minded strategy right now, is DK, and that's what he's been very good at, as we've seen in the past in this 13 car. Of course, Krikorian has got a couple of wins under his belt, looking for another. He's hunting down Ryan Matthews, Gasper D'Souza, and Kurt Pliskin directly behind him in cars 20 and 16. As you now look at Brandon LaRoe in car 25, as he's trying to make a move on, trying to get by Scott Bates in the 6, who's having a quiet run of his own. They do believe this would be for the final points paying position. Oh, and that's a car going up in smoke behind him. That's Webster. Zach Webster, as the engine's gone in that car, and he was having a decent run of his own. That's a shame, because Webster's really needed a good run this year. He's needed highlight material. Oh, look out, look out, look out. This is not a good place for a car that's blown up to be. I don't think he could decide what's... Oh, no! Oh, no! Fischel's gotten into the back of him. What was Fischel doing side by side with another car? If he knew that the yellow flags were out. Oh no! Have you ever seen someone now the drivers do get alerts as to when they're approaching yellow flag zones, even if they don't see them. There's a light that shows up on the dash that they can see if they're entering a yellow flag zone. So we're going to look on the, we're on board with Tom Moore in the number 4 car, who's right in with this mess. So this is about where they would enter the yellow flag zone, right here in Canada Corner. And Fischel sets up Blacklighter as to make a pass on him. So at this point, Fischel probably should not be making this move, and oh my goodness. I got nothing for that. I don't think I've ever seen someone so thrown off his game today, though, as Fischel has. He's gotten it back going, but oh boy, that's going to be a very... Oh yeah, I expected that. Never seen someone this thrown off their game, though, and the baffling thing is he's leading the championship. He got the pole. He could have. This all feels so avoidable, and I don't understand it. I've never seen anything like that before. As Darian Gilliam begins to close in on Cooper, as Ian Cooper really making Gilliam's life making his life a bit of a nightmare at the moment, but he's going to try on the outside of turn 6. Oh, wow! Oh, that was clean! Darian Gilliam around the outside of turn 6. That was a clean setup. Cooper I don't think Cooper was necessarily ready for that one. Oh, Darian Gilliam, what a move! That was committed, and he set that one up from a ways back. Very, very good move there for Gilliam. As we now look at Carroll and Matthews, Carroll is really making Matthews' life a bit of a nightmare, as there is Krikorian catching both of them. I think Matthews wants to dispatch Carroll as soon as he possibly can, but Carroll has... he's been fighting a very good fight here to try to keep himself in the top 10, but here comes DK. DK is going to have something to say about it. Here comes the 13. Unlucky for some, but not for DK, as he's going to make him. Is he going to try to get Matthews now? We're again a bit of a further back angle on this. Here he comes on the inside. DK coming through. That's going to be DK up to P9. 2 cars in just about under a third of a lap. Wow. DK really is on a march this stint. He looks like he is definitely on fire here. Metaphorically, thankfully, not literally. As here is Savaral and Cameron Taylor doing battle. This is for position as well. The car in front of them is Castagnetta. Both the Richter cars run into very serious problems today. So Castagnetta is well out of the running there. Taylor setting up. Savaral into the kinks. Savaral defends. Is he going to be able to make it? Whoa, maybe. Maybe he is. Savaral hangs on. You've seen some people make moves into the kink that doesn't normally go very well because there's barely enough space there for 2 cars, and that is probably the one track where you least want to have a rather big accident. As Savaral continues to hang on and continuing to defend from Cameron Taylor in that 7 car. Taylor having a good run so far today. A little surprised that he hasn't scored a win yet this year, and especially given how well his teammates gone. Very surprising to see Taylor having not having won a race yet, but he's had several opportunities. Joe Olenek, on the other hand, whoa, bit sideways into Station 5, but Joe Olenek, on the other hand, has not any opportunities he's really had to run at the front. He's had to sort of claw them. Claw through the field other than San Antonio, and it's a bit of a different vibe around that 23 team after the first race of the year. They looked so strong there, not only to lose it really late, but Joe Olenek, this looks like a very commanding drive so far as Cooper's starting to drop through the field. I don't think they're going to be able to hang on to that yet. Cooper well almost off the track, and Tony Long is going to be able to go through quite easily here. Cooper's really, but you can tell how much Cooper's defending has cost Long from the gap that's formed between them and Darian Gilliam up ahead. As there you see behind, Sue and Fitzgerald are closing in as well. Connor Friel will be the next one to have a run on the Nespes car. And Friel, on the other hand, is trying to defend from Sue in that 88 car. Connor Friel, great run so far in the 68. He's trying to defend the very aggressive Chinese driver, at least fairly aggressive when it comes to driving on his own. Not quite so much in trap. Oh, Truman Ellison around. Truman Ellison into the wall in the 50 car. That's a big disappointment for him. There's been some rumors around Scuderia Tutino that there's some money coming from South America that could be displacing one of their drivers. That's the farthest that rumor goes. And I think it would be a little unfair for any of those two to be replaced because they've both Hunt and Ellison done fairly well. As you saw Greg Woodard, who has clawed himself up into 27th place. But Cameron Taylor now having another run at Savaral. Savaral's been using... was Savaral just using Castagnetta as a reference? I think he was, because Savaral just opened the door and Taylor just drove right in. I think Cameron Taylor might have caught Savaral not paying attention, as Savaral now trying to get some draft off the 9. Of course, Castaneda is just holding his line, running his own race. And I don't think that's going to quite work the way he wanted. As Cameron Taylor, is he going to be able to complete the move going into turn 3? I mentioned you see a lot of side-by-side racing here, despite this track not looking like it's very conducive to it. We've seen a lot of evidence of that today. Savaral's fighting back. Here he comes, Luciano Savaral. He's got the bit between his teeth. He's going to set up Cameron Taylor. Is he going to be able to make it stick in Station 5? Here he comes. Here comes the Brazilian on Cameron Taylor, and the Brazilian is able to take the position back from the Ohioan. As now he's going to try to get around Castaneda. He wants to dispatch Castaneda in the 9, but is he going to be able to do that without opening the door for Taylor? Oh, and we got another car off. It's Carter Fitzgerald in the 60 car. She's rejoining, gets back underway. No contact there, just a simple error there. Here is Cooper, and here is Connor Friel. This is a battle for 16th place going into Canada Corner. Friel makes a move. That's pretty late. Gets into the back of Cooper and puts him in the wall. Oh, Friel just hooked the back of the 2 and just ran him into and just turned him around. Maybe that's why Friel's ride might be under threat, because that was way too late to be making a move like that. He did not have a wheel on Cooper. He can complain all he likes, but he can complain all he likes, but that's not good. Oh, we got some radio with the 11, and well, Eklund coming a bit unraveled a little bit also. If you're on the radio there, you're going to need to calm. The one thing you want to do is calm your driver down. Eklund is the first to pit. No one else has even come close to pitting. And one thing we've kind of missed is that Eklund is not made up nearly as much ground in Atlantic as we thought. It's been that gap has been stable, as you saw the confirmation there from the 23 radio there as you saw there. Of course, when you see that those graphics come up, the italics is coming from the pit wall. Scott Bates in the 6 is off. Oh, he's gonna be able to rejoin, hopefully. Scott Bates keeps it under control. There's not a whole lot of grip there in the carousel, and he lets Kareem Washington go by. He doesn't try to fight that one. A veteran driver and a hot shoe rookie there. Here is Chrissy O'Ryan in the 80, running in 8th place, having a very quiet race. That's what you want to see from a rookie, just to have, and now she's pitting as well. So Eklund and O'Ryan are the first 2 cars to pit for. Oh wait, no, we got another one in behind O'Ryan. We're gonna see who that is. It's a white car. That's Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov's well down the order, so he's not really a factor. There's Krikorian going by, but so 2 of the Lynx Racing cars are the first to pit. No one else has even really thought about it. And those are a lap apart. Now here is Taylor trying to get around Savaral with a little bit of help from his teammate. Fischel boxing in Savaral. That's good teamwork right there from Lennard International. Now I wonder if Fischel's going to let Taylor go by, because Fischel did just help Cameron Taylor get by a very annoying Luciano Savaral, even though that was 4th position. And Fischel rolls over for his teammate. And see if he's going to hold up the 5. Now that will, if he ignores blue flags for too long, that will warrant even more. Official looks like he's going to be a bit more courteous. He's making Savaral's life a bit more of a headache. Now here's David Hetzel in the 78 car. We've been a little remiss to mention him because he's been hasn't really been in battle with any other cars, too many other cars, but he is having a good battle here with Greg Woodard. This is an Independence Trophy team. And these will count towards the points that the 78 car has already accumulated. He is the team owner, and he is from this area, so he does have some local support. Now there is, of course, Hetzel, car 78, that will count for Independence Trophy points. Now here is LaRoe leaving the pits in the 25. He was scored 25th. He's gotten ahead of Scott Bates and Kareem Washington, so that's good work for the Ortega crew. And so Brandon LaRoe really having a good day so far. So is the entirety of Ortega. Having a good weekend so far, including their TM Lights team. Now Eklund you see, just to make some of that make a bit more sense, Eklund was one of their simulator drivers as well last year. So that definitely has a bit of an impact on or that definitely should make some of that, as you see Joe Olenek pitting Olenek is pitted about 3 laps after Eklund did, and I just wanted to say that should, hopefully my, what I mentioned there should clarify what Eklund mentioned about being like the sim. As you see Ashby and Hadeland entering the pits, both of them in contention for a podium position. In fact, both of them could be on the podium depending on where the 11 is at the end of this round of pit stops. As you see one of the Richter cars go by. Devereaux in. Looks like most of the rest of the field is in. Ashby on the left side there, you see. Waiting to see where Eklund is. Ashby's leaving. Great work by Black Diamond Racing. She's beaten Hadeland out of the pits. There comes Eklund come by, and Eklund is just set fastest lap of the race. So, game on here. Ashby going to try to beat Eklund into turn 1. Not even close. Eklund around the outside. Great move there, and great run. She has already begun to stretch her advantage, but great work there by Black Diamond Racing in the pits to get Ashby in front of Hadeland. Great work there for the 55 team. Pit Road is where Lynx Racing has not had too many problems this year. They've been fairly solid in that department. But Ashby trying to hang on and going to try to see if she could run down Liv Eklund, who has begun to stretch an advantage there. Joe Olenek, though, well out in front in this 23 car. If he's able to hold where he is right now, this should be his first win. Should be, of course. He's still got plenty of race to go. But this 23 car has looked very solid all day long. And this has been a very good drive for Olenek, who has sort of been overshadowed by some of the other wackiness that's happened in races this year. He just needs to focus and hit his marks, because it's going to take a lot for anyone to catch him. He has been absolutely flawless today. Yep. That's Alan Hodges telling Olenek just to don't bother with your mirrors. And that you might have seen her in the background, but that's the gap between Olenek and Eklund. If Olenek just maintains his speed, maintains his pace, Eklund won't catch him in time. That's assuming that, of course, Eklund maintains hers. As here is Christy O'Ryan trying to fend off David Krikorian in the 13. Krikorian having a fantastic drive from the back. I don't think I can state this enough, but DK has had one of the best drives of his career today, and this is something else. David Krikorian has really made the best out of a bad situation. He has pace equivalent to the top 3 cars right now, at least to the top 4. But one miss. Oh, Carter Fitzgerald's in trouble in the Matthews Motorsports car. That looks like an engine gone. That one, she was running in 20th last time by, and that's rather disappointing for Fitzgerald, honestly. As here is Ashby trying to hold off Hadeland, as Ingrid Hadeland, calm down, is she's been very. You see the race engineer reassure the driver, not the other way around in this case. Hadeland has been babysitter, race car driver, and ice cream enthusiast all weekend. She's going on the inside of Ashby, cool as ice right there. Caught Ashby and put her in the mirrors. Wow. Oh, Matthews a bit loose under braking there, dogging Packer Carroll, and Tony Long's got a good run on him. Ryan Matthews having a solid day of his own. The Nutmegger in 11th, or scored in 11th. He's going to lose that to Long. The Michigan driver, D'Souza, is up there as well in the 20 car. And there is also, that's Gilliam in the 35. Really, all of these guys. This has been a good battle to really watch. Pliskin has caught the back of this group, and so is D'Souza, but Pliskin really hasn't been able to do anything with them. And Connor Friel, of course, the penalty, I don't think it's not really going to matter what he does. It shouldn't, anyway. As Long having a run on Gilliam. This is for position. Is he going to be able to make that one work? Or is Gilliam going to be able to hold this one on the outside through the carousel? We're going to see. That's D'Souza. Is D'Souza thinking 3 wide as someone's gone in the sand? It's Packer. Packer's into the gravel a bit, but he rejoins. Long hangs on. Here comes D'Souza in the 20. They bang fenders through the kink. Gasper D'Souza and Darian Gilliam, neither of them were in complete control of those cars. What an incredible bit of driving by both of them, as Connor Friel making a run on Pliskin, and on Gilliam, who's all of them are way out of shape, but having probably the best battle of the day has been right back here from about 11th to 15th. Oh my goodness! Pliskin going by, gonna go by the 35, and Pliskin is gonna move up a spot. This is great stuff. Tony Long now having a run on Carroll. The Independence Trophy driver really showing his stuff today, as we've got just under 6 laps to go, as Long on the inside of Carroll. Is he going to be able to make this one stick? No, he's not. I just saw the fastest lap just come up again. Eklund has reset fastest lap of the race. So Joe Olenek is going to have to worry about the 11 car charging, it looks like, for the battle for the lead, as this has seemed to settle itself out. Here's Olenek again. Eklund is definitely closing on him, but again, at the rate that she's closing, I don't think she's going to get there in time. I could be mistaken, but Olenek is going to have to step it up a little, I think. We've seen a lot of cars. We've seen a lot of finishes like this year. When you least expect it, a car with someone whose race looks safe, and all of a sudden, a challenger appears and begins a rather furious hunt towards the end of the race, where it looks like we're in for another one today. Liv Eklund, now this would be something else if she's able to get her first win with this livery on the car. As, oh my goodness, she is really coming. She is really coming. Purple again, and Liv Eklund is charging, and she's gaining in the part of the track where she's lost time, where she has been losing time the rest of the race. In the middle sector, not on the long straightaways where the Lynx Racing cars are notably also very quick. Orion also looks like she's picked it up. Christy Orion in car number 80, making a move on Adrian Devereaux. That's good. That's 4th position. She's going to have Devereaux cleared before the break. No, not quite cleared before the break zone. Devereaux fights back, and he's got more grip on the outside lane there, and he hangs on to it. And Orion defends from Krikorian. Oh, but maybe a bit of contact, maybe not. Maybe just left the door open for DK to slide through, and he did. David Krikorian. And that's what experience will do for you. Orion definitely has the pace, but DK with the experience move there saw that whole opening before it even was even there. As Ike Durbin has gotten himself up into 20th in that Team Timothy 69 car. Now, despite all the controversy behind the sponsor there, and how it does kind of raise the question as to whether or not sponsors like gambling sponsors really need to be in the series at all. Of course, cigarette sponsors are banned in the early 2000s, but you do kind of wonder with things like that. Now, here's things you do want to see. As you see there, she's reset it again. Now these are things you do want to see more of in the series. Things like the Trevor Project, liveries like this, and because it's undoubtable the good that they provide to the world, and Eklund providing a lot of good to that team right now, because she is really lighting up the timing charts. This is unreal almost, because Olenek is responding a little bit. He has definitely picked it up, but I'm no longer sure that his gap's going to be enough, because Eklund is really charging right now in this 11 car. That outlap that she did, though, is still I think that caught my attention. But Olenek Olenek's going to have orange in his mirrors pretty soon. Hopefully he took the team's advice and isn't looking in them too much, as he's trying to defend what could be his first TM Master Cup Series win from the driver whose background is probably the most different from his than any other in the field. Of course, Joe Olenek came up to the Master Cup Series through the American Short Tracks. He ran in FARC in the TM Light Series at the same time. Sort of came up the old school way, you might say. The Connecticut driver's made his home here and has done so quite well. Of course, Liv Eklund came up the ranks through Scandinavian Formula cars. She had a brief stint in rallying before switching to an electric GT car while attending university at the same time. Excelled at that. Went to the TM Light Series. It didn't go so well. In fact, it went so badly that some people were wondering whether she'd have a drive anywhere, and that was certainly looking to be the case in January. But after Davina Hinton got hurt, she got called up, and it has worked wonders ever since then. Clearly, Lynx Racing knew something we didn't, as Eklund really caught Olenek in under braking from from two drivers who probably fought harder to be here more than anyone else in the field. Olenek and Eklund going forward as she is really catching up to Joe Olenek. This is going to be a tooth and nail battle for the ages. It could be. Coming now, the 2 laps to go. Eklund is all over the back of the 23. Olenek is going to have to turn it up to defend here, but she is slowing down just a little bit. Eklund peeks out of the line. Here she comes on the inside of Olenek coming into turn 1. She's not quite there though. Olenek squeezing her in and shuts the door a little bit. Eklund losing the front end. She has to back out of it. Eklund backs out of it. Olenek still holding on to the lead in the Honda's Walter Car 23. He shuts the door again. Good defending there from Olenek on Eklund. And it's going to be quite the celebration no matter which of these two ends up winning this. That is, of course, they could both collide with each other. That's certainly a possibility. As now Olenek holds on in Station 5. Eklund does not make a move on him. Does not peek out of line. The Olenek defensive line going into turn 6. Hadeland in the background would inherit the lead if anything happens here. Olenek holding on now. Going through 7, coming. Is Eklund going to make a run at him here? No. Oh, maybe she is. Eklund's coming in. She throws it in. Inside. That's a really late move to make. Olenek goes wide onto the grass, and Liv Eklund takes over the lead. Liv Eklund into the lead. Going into the carousel. Is she going to be able to hang on to it there? Looks like it. Eklund looks so confident on that with that car at low speed. Especially as we get further into, as we get on old tires, it looks like. But David Krikorian now hanging on there in the 13 as Orion is really becoming a menace to him. Orion going to try to send it in the last corner. She's going to be able to make this stick. No, doesn't look like it. Oh, she's still alongside him. She's got it for now. But is DK going to be able to get something back going down the straightaway? He does have draft off the car in front of him, which is Castaneda, who is not really a factor. That doesn't matter because Orion has just slotted right in front of DK well before the braking zone. And DK is going to have to try to get by Orion as quickly as well. He doesn't have a whole lot of time left. He's just got 2 laps to go now in order to do that. DK lost it a little bit. Big wiggle out of the 13. And now Devereaux is going to have a peek at him possibly. Try to get by his old ride. White flag for Liv Eklund. Eklund has begun to stretch a gap a bit on Joe Olenek. Eklund has been unbelievable in this final stint. That was a good strategy calling also on part of Lynx Racing, it looks like. Try to minimize time in the pits, except for this final stint where they just sort of put Eklund in full attack mode, and it has paid off. It has paid off greatly, as here's D'Souza now, and Sue doing battle with Tony Long. D'Souza gets by and holds on. Here comes Sue, so he can be able to get by Long. There's Friel, who's behind all this bunch due to penalties. Gilliam going by, 3 wide there in the back, as Friel, I think, is going to back off, and he does. Good stuff there. But here is Eklund now, as she is holding a gap and starting to pull away a little bit from Joe Olenek. This has been an unbelievable run to the end. Olenek looked like he had it in the bag. He is maintaining, did everything he was supposed to do. But Eklund, as long as she makes the final few corners, as right as I say that, she comes dangerously close to the grass. But as long as she hangs it together, this is going to be a party for the ages. Liv Eklund rounds turn 13, coming around turn 14. This is going to be great. Eklund around the final corner, down the main straightaway to take her first TM Master Cup Series victory of the year when she wasn't expected to be here 7 months ago. What a race, what a finish, and what a performance by Eklund and by Joe Olenek. both of whom put on their absolute finest today. I have no doubts about that. It's a very emotional podium celebration. Eklund barely able to string sentences together, but this is a day I hope she remembers for a very long time. I should also mention that she is the 7th first-time winner this year, so talk about a real changing of the guard. Joe Olenek shouldn't be too disappointed about losing out today. He's clearly shown that he is capable of winning a race, and at the rate we're going, his time will come before the year's out. Oh, and Ingrid Hadeland, one of the only 2 repeat winners this year, completed the podium. I'm sure there's going to be some controversy in the press, especially after the way the start line incident went. Zelda Ashby had a very credible race today. 4th place is nothing to be ashamed about. Cameron Taylor completes the top 5. Good drives by Luciano Salvarall, Christina Orion, David Krikorian. Devereaux was disappointed with 9th. He felt that better was on the cards today, but that was the best result that he could do in the circumstances. And how about Ryan Matthews completing the top 10? That's exactly the performance that team needed right about now, and leave it to the boss to deliver. Good runs from Kurt Pliskin and Gasper de Souza. Both of them really look like they've gotten it together in the past couple of races. Su Xiaoyu in 13th, Packer Carroll very respectable 14th. Tony Long is really going to be helping his Independence Trophy bid with a result like that. Gilliam's career is off to a great start with another points finish. The notorious Kareem Washington was right behind him in 17th. Lucas Grabert, Ike Durbin, both of them really needed some points today, and both of them got it from great drives from far back in the field. North Carolina's Brandon LaRoe was the final points finisher. Scott Bates was on track to finish in 17th place, however there was an electrical problem with that car on the final lap, and he pulled off. Very disappointing for him, but I just felt that we should mention it because he was running fairly well all race long. And here's how the point standings look after today. Fischel still has nearly a full race lead over Chris Davenport. However, neither of them scored points today, and the rest of the field is beginning to close in. Hadeland jumped 3 places in the championship, and Joe Olenek notably jumps into the top 10. Back in 2014, Leonid Roderick erased nearly a 200-point deficit in just a couple of races to keep his championship hopes alive, so don't count out anyone just yet. One quick look at the Independence Trophy shows that Phil Purpura is still within striking distance of the Independence Trophy lead because, remember, he still has one more guaranteed start. Tony Long's strong run today did his bid a lot of good, however he's going to need to improve on that if he's going to take the Independence Trophy. He'll get a shot to do that the next time the TM Master Cup Series is in action, which will be at the world-famous Round of Quincy at the Grand Detour of Western Illinois. If you'd like to watch some previous events in the series, check out this list over here. Or check out these videos from friends of the show. Or if you'd like to be social, join the Discord.